The systems in place today simply fail to foster creativity. Whether it's at home, school, university, or your workplace. Some of these due to the societal expectations, some of these due to their policies, and some of these due to the inherent boundaries they place upon us. How many of you think that your current line of work or passion is considered creative? Okay, some of you. But what is creativity? Well, creativity is the process of bringing something new into being. Creativity requires passion and commitment. It brings into our awareness what was previously not seen. Creativity is synonymous with imagination. And yet, each one of these systems is designed to obliterate any sense of imagination and replace it by forcing you to follow a predefined set of tasks. I too raised my hands a couple of minutes earlier because I am a software developer. Now, many of you wouldn't have software development come to your mind first when you think of creativity. But great software requires creativity. It requires imagination. It requires innovation. Fortunately, I'm not here today to tell you about why software requires creativity. But what I am here to tell you about is a story of me, a software developer, breaking out of one of such systems that once trapped me. And as you can guess by my age, that system is school. About 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to join one of the most prestigious institutions in my region. But I was also caught in my own world, between personal aspirations and societal expectations. As the pressure mounted to study at an institution that would define my future, I had decided that I would enroll in that exact institution, which was well regarded, and start another phase of my academic journey. But where did my heart truly lie? It wasn't in memorizing the steps to produce ammonia, and neither was it in remembering coding concepts that were marked as allowed for the exam, but never translated into real-world applications. In a syllabus that was designed for rote learning just for the next exam, imagination clearly wasn't a possibility. So here was my choice. I could either step into this predefined path of academic success, or I could take an early deep dive into something more creative, something that spoke to my passion, something that involved hands-on experimentation. I chose the deep dive. I went on to build prototypes. I shared them online. I sought clients, and I landed some. My first $300 paycheck wasn't just an income. It was a revelation that I could see the world this way. It didn't matter whether it was $300 or $3 million. But what it meant is that the risk I had taken was finally, literally paying off. But my parents were taken aback. You have your board exams knocking on the door. Shouldn't you be studying? You're doing this for your career. My parents weren't not being supportive. They had always been supportive. But this was a concern of parents of an adolescent who they believed would face choppier waters. So how about having focus? But here's my question. What is focus? Is focus grades? Grades that may not translate into industry? But at the same time, to be noticed by the industry, you must go to a college that matters. And here comes the oxymoron and the paradox. Grades push you into institutions that matter, and institutions that matter get you noticed. And getting noticed means that your app, your startup, your website, anything finds its space. But the thing is, not everyone from significant institutions goes on to build institutions. Most of them end up spending their life swiping a debit card, reading a barcode, and receiving a paycheck. Not all of them step into the dark and unknown and snatch out a piece of light. Not all of them build what they wish existed. Not all of them choose the risk of failing over the comfort of certainty. Anyways, coming back to my story, and perhaps the story of many others I know, it's about breaking out of these systems and going on to create. So I continued creating. I founded my own company, Starlight Apps. I continued finding clients from all around the world and working with them. And I continued tinkering. In fact, Even in the middle of my board exams, I was building an app on the side. And some of them even went on to being featured on the front page of the Apple Vision Pro App Store and being placed right next to apps like TikTok. I'm not a fan of TikTok, but my app was being placed next to an app that dominates global markets. And then came the 97% in my board exams, and hopefully similar or even better grades in my grade 12 exams that are impending. But is that success? I wouldn't say it's not success, but I wouldn't define success that narrowly either. In my own way, I am questioning the very narrow definition of success. Getting 97% isn't a success story. Not getting 97% isn't a success story either. But what it shows is that doing what you love can actually fuel your academics. Making an app in the middle of an exam isn't a distraction. It's as academic as it gets. So I had a realization from my experiences that there's a difference between academics and syllabus. When someone says, I read a lot, that's academics. When someone says, I read a lot and I get marks, that's the syllabus. And syllabus and academics are antonyms that we brainwash people into believing were synonyms. Anyways, I knew that if I wanted to succeed in academics, I had to succeed in hands-on academics and not syllabus alone. So, how do I do that? By making, by building, by creating, by observing possibilities far beyond the curriculum and not being bounded by it. So one of my hopefully many to come contributions is building an AI-powered pair of glasses that help the visually impaired navigate their world. Today, we've brought the price to $50. Maybe someday it'll be $5. Maybe someday it'll be free for the world to use. The creator of insulin gave it to the world for free. He could have made millions, but instead, he gave it to humanity. He left it for free. Maybe someday, I'll create something like that too. Today, that has inspired me to open source all of my apps and make them available for free for everyone to use around the world. So when Gandhiji says, be the change you want to see in the world, he doesn't mean that you can change the world tomorrow, but you can change your own world. And if everyone changes a part of their own world, the whole world changes too. And now, this isn't the end of my journey. In fact, this is just the beginning. I hope to keep on creating, to hope to keep on building apps that define new experiences and help people navigate their world. Today, I have 400,000 users. Maybe someday I'll have 400 million. Now, I'd like to leave you with this. If there were no expectations with you, if there were no boundaries, no restrictions, what would you create? And if that is what speaks to your passion, why not start today? Thank you.